Hi guys, this is Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Today I'm going to be making a card using the Bella Ovalette, I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, I'm going to be using this die set. It is one of the Amazing Paper Grace Amazing Filigree dies. And here is the card that I'm going to be creating. Now I did also kind of get lost down that rabbit hole and made a bunch of more pieces. So I've got spares. So let's go ahead and get started making this amazing card. I'm going to go with my standard A2 size card. So I'm starting off with this rectangular piece that's in the center of this die set. Now all of these pieces can be cut individually, so it's a ton of stuff to play with. And I'm just starting off with this little rectangle. This rectangle measures approximately 2 3/4 by 4, so it's perfect for a center focal point of the card. I'm also using the Spellbinders gold mirror cardstock because I absolutely love it. It's just, I don't know, it's so metallic. It doesn't seem like cardstock. It die cuts like a dream. Isn't that just so lovely? Next I'm going to cut out a bunch of the little flowers that are included in this kit. There are 2 flower shapes and 4 leaves, so I'm cutting out double of each of the flower shapes. I feel that they go best together when it's matched with the same one. So I'm just cutting them out of some red and some pink and some white and a bunch of little green leaves. I'm basically cutting out 4 leaves every time I cut out 2 of the flowers. So I wind up with a ton of those. Next I'm going to cut out another piece that I think would make a really pretty focal point in the center of it. And that's basically because it came in the set too, you know, it's perfect. So I am going to cut out a bunch of these in white because I'm going to layer them up and give it a lot of dimension. I actually go back and cut, I think, like 6 of these out, and then I'm going to cut another one out of some of that gold mirror cardstock to go on top. Next I'm picking out a piece of pattern paper to go behind it. I'm using the paper pack that came in the card kit of the month. I need to use this stuff up and I've got a ton. So I decided that to go along with the red flowers, because I kind of want my flowers to pop, I'm going to go with this white pattern that's got, looks kind of like little stems behind it. These little flowers looked cute on their own, but I decided to add a little bit of color to the center to give them a little bit of depth. So I'm just using a flicking motion and one of my alcohol markers and just coloring from the center out just a little bit. Then I'm going to go back over with a slightly lighter color and kind of blend those in so that the lines aren't quite so stark. A year ago, I would have just adhered these guys together as is, but ever since I started playing with some of Susan Tierney's dimensional flowers, I kind of want to add a little bit more dimension to these. So I'm just using a ball stylus on this and just, I don't know, softening up all those edges and trying to kind of create a little bowl with each of the little flower shapes. After a little bit of practice, I did get a little bit better at it, but these wind up turning out so stinking cute. I love the way that these flowers turned out. Oh my goodness. So for each of these blossoms, what I'm doing is I'm using that flicking motion to add a little depth in the center and then blending it out with a lighter color. And then I will use my ball stylus to shape the petals too. Now, one thing that I didn't mention before is that when I'm gluing the two pieces together for the blossom, I'm trying to turn one just slightly off so that the petals aren't exactly lined up. I want them to be a little bit offset because I think that looks better. And I do put a little rhinestone in the center of all of those little blooms. Next, I added a little color to all of the little petals. What I decided to do, and what I think looked the best out of the different things that I tried, was to first go down, first cover them with a light shade of green, and then go back in and put a little bit more detail with the darker one, and then blend it back out. Since this is colored cardstock, mine always absorb the ink pretty much, so the easiest way to work it is to put that first layer of ink down. Next, I am going to start putting things together so that I can have this little card getting almost done. I think I've got pretty much all of the pieces. I decided that I wanted a matting layer, so I'm going to go with this dark burgundy color, and I'm just putting my little rectangle that I cut out of that pattern paper on the back, and then I'm going to cut out around the edges about a 1/4 inch on each side. That looks nice, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere that mirror cardstock down with some art glitter glue. Now, what I'm noticing is that it doesn't really want to stick, which again is telling me that this is not regular cardstock. I keep finding another reason why this is actually, I'm positive it's got to be covered with metal. I'm going to have to find out for sure at some point. I think I'll have to ask Spellbinders just to make absolute certain. Anyway, I'm running a bead of that art glitter glue all around the edges and covering parts of the filigree, and then I'm going to put that down over my pattern paper piece and hold it down. It did shift a little bit, so I'm having to rearrange it and reposition it and then hold it down so that it has a chance to adhere, because although art glitter glue works really fast on regular cardstock, this doesn't really have anything for it to absorb into, so it does take a second for that to actually adhere. Next, I'm going to start putting together that center piece. So I've got my gold shape. I'm going to again use that art glitter glue on the back and adhere it to one of the white ones. Now, one thing you do have to be careful on is this looks like it's identical on both sides, right? It's a little bit off. It's where the centerpiece wasn't quite in the center, so you have to make sure that you're lining everything up right, otherwise the white is going to show through. I did have to turn it around a few times while I was putting these together. In the end, I think I added a total of 6 pieces of white cardstock, winds up making it really nice and thick, almost like chipboard. Okay, now I think I'm ready to start putting things together. So this piece, I am just adding some art glitter glue to the back so I can position that right in the center, and oh my goodness, that just looks so lovely. I am amazed at how pretty all of these amazing paper grace dyes. The cards that they create are just amazing. That entire panel I'm just going to put in the center of an A2 size white card base, again adhering everything down with art glitter glue. Now I can start adhering those little flowers down. I'm putting a couple of little bunches, one in a group of 3 and then 2 near the bottom, so it's going to be a total of 5. Trying to keep it to odd numbers because I just tend to be more visually appealing. Because of that gold mirror cardstock though, I am having to hold these pieces in place a little bit. Again, let's give that art glitter glue a chance to hold on. The flowers do look a little incomplete, and that is where all of those nice little green leaves come in. I'm just going to tuck them around each of those little flowers to give that finishing touch to those little bouquets. All we need now is a sentiment. So I am using the stamp set that came in the card kit of the month, and it's got a lot of really sweet sentiments, and I'm going ahead and stamping a bunch of them out because I'm still going to make some cards using the card kit, so I might as well get prepared ahead of time, right? I'm just going to stamp that out using some Gina K ink. This is in Obsidian Black. It is fantastic, and I amazed myself this time. It basically stamped down almost perfect first time around when I had never used these stamps before. Usually they need a little conditioning. This time they looked pretty much perfect except for right around where my magnet is. I picked out one of the sentiments and I'm just trimming that down with my paper trimmer. Nothing fancy. And then I'm going to adhere that down in the center of my card with some foam tape. As a final finishing touch, I'm gonna again add a few more of those little gems that I've got in my stash. I think they are just the perfect finishing touch, and although this one's got a lot of shine and some sparkle from some other gems, I thought adding a couple more would kind of tie things together just a little bit more. So this card is pretty much done. So if you guys want to see some more videos where I'm using some Spellbinders products to create some awesome cards, be sure to check out this playlist. You guys have a wonderful day, and remember, if I can make it, you can too. Have a great day.